The squirrel was magic!
Welcome to the newest episode of Heckles Horror. Are the games good? Mm-hmm. Alright. Yeah, welcome to the new episode of Heckles Horror, the first of the weekly editions. I've decided to go weekly because I don't care, and I just want to do weekly because it's fun. And plus, after last week's episode, it seemed like a lot of people wanted more TJ, so... which, I mean, couldn't you blame them? But, so yeah. New episode of Heckles Horror, weekly now. Got my notes like always. I always have to reference my notes for some reason. It's not like people care. But, yeah, coming at you from Magic Squirrel Network and the Nut House. That's right, I remembered it this time. Yeah, coming from you, the Nut House. We got a pretty good show lined up tonight. I actually was putting it together on my drive here. Not because I'm unprepared. It's just I work better under pressure, I guess you could say. But so yeah, a good show tonight, and also we are introducing a new segment. I don't know if it's going to be a weekly segment because, well, for one, the segment is going to be story time with TJ, and I don't know if it'll be a weekly segment on each episode because a man's only got so many stories. But I do have a lot of stories, but I just don't want to run out too quickly. But tonight is going to be the first edition of Storytime with TJ, and it's a pretty good one too. It's a pretty good one. Trust me, because it's never a dull moment with me for some reason. I really don't understand why. But so yeah, without further ado, let's jump in to tonight's episode. First up on the docket, I've mentioned in the last few episodes of our upcoming film, Cinematic Reality. I know I talk about it a lot. Be prepared to hear a lot more about it because we are currently crowdfunding the film, and we are setting up for production, which kicks off... oh, damn, February is almost over. It kicks off in just a little bit over a month, in April. So... be expecting to hear a lot more about Cinematic Reality as the time comes closer to the shoot dates and everything. But what I want to talk about at CR is the Indiegogo campaign that we filmed. What was it, last week? Last week or the week before? I think it was last week. The Indiegogo campaign that we filmed last week. It is now live and in effect on Indiegogo. I forgot to give you a link. I was going to give you a link to put up. We'll put a link somewhere. But yeah, the Indiegogo is up and live. The video, there's a little 5 or 6 minute long video where, who is it? Alex Gottman and Tyler Riley and Brandon Pruitt, all three, talk a little bit about the movie in the video. There's a little bit of behind the scenes footage of like us cleaning up the location, our central location. Little bit of BTS. There's a little bit of comedy in it too. There's a funny part in it that I think people will enjoy. So yeah, be on the lookout for the Cinematic Reality. You can actually get to the CR Indiegogo from our Studio 605 Facebook page, and we also have a Cinematic Reality Facebook page too. And I believe that one is just, if you just Google Cinematic Reality, or not Google, but Facebook search Cinematic Reality, you should be able to find it pretty easily. But yeah, there's some cool perks. I know I mentioned perks on the last episode, I think, or the episode before. There's some really cool perks. Let's see, set used, cast and crew signed, clapboards, slates, we call them slates, screen used, props, and wardrobe pieces. Those are going to be cool. What else was there? There was something else really cool. Oh, we got, I mean, in the regular typical stuff, we got like social media shout outs and producer credits, things like that.
I got the movie, a poster, and I think that's it.
Was that the CR pre-order thing or whatever? Yeah, you can also pre-order Cinematic Reality, and then it comes with, I think, a poster.
I'm pulling it up right now, actually.
Yeah, there's another perk where you can pre-order the DVD itself. So whenever we get the movie filmed and then we get it pressed up on DVD, we'll just send you a copy. And I mean, that's what you get for that perk. A DVD of the movie, I believe a Cinematic Reality 11x17 poster, which was actually drawn up by a good friend of ours. A good friend of ours. I wish we had a picture of it, but we don't. But a good friend of ours, Matt Gordon, who lives down in Nashville, incredible artist. He's a really excellent artist. He's actually best friends with Brandon Pruitt. I guess they went to high school together. They've known each other since they were real young. But yeah, the Cinematic Reality poster, it's all hand-drawn. It's a really cool poster. I wish we had one to show, but we don't. Next episode, I'll bring one, because I have one. Next episode, I'll bring it, and we'll show it off. But yeah, you get a DVD, a poster, and a couple other things. You just got to go to the Indiegogo page and look at all the perks. But also, my favorite one, and I really, really hope that people get this one, that people... yeah, I hope we at least get one person that gets this. But a date with 605. I think that one's going to be a lot of fun. That's a new one that we've never done before. I'm excited about that one. I know Brandon, I think, is pretty excited about that. We're all pretty excited about that one just because it's something cool, something interactive, that a lucky fan or two or however many dates you people want to go on with the boys of 605. Hilarity will ensue. I promise you that. What's that?
Matt Gordon.
Yeah. Matt Gordon. Yeah, I said that right. I'm pretty sure I said. Yeah, Matt Gordon. He, like I said, he's the one who hand drew the Cinematic Reality poster for us, and it looks really, really good. Like I said, I have one at home. I should have brought it with me tonight, but I didn't think about it. But next episode I will bring it and I'll show it. But yeah, the date with 605. Go out to dinner, maybe see a movie, have some drinks, might get a little bit sensual. You never know what could happen, but there will be lots of laughs. So we'll see. So yeah, check out Cinematic Reality on Facebook. Give it a like and a follow. Check out the Indiegogo. Even if you can't contribute, that's fine. We don't expect anybody to contribute. We appreciate it if you do, but we don't expect it. But even something as simple as just a like and a share on the page and help us get the word out, because we're really, really excited about this movie. It's been a long time coming, Cinematic Reality has, and we're excited to finally dive into it and make it, because, like I said, it's been a long time coming.
Flash drive fun is one of them.
Oh yeah, that's another perk. I forgot about that one. There's also another perk called Flash Drive Fun, and what that one is throughout the it's going to be a 3-week shoot. Throughout the shoot, we're going to take random, like, on-set photos, like exclusive on-set photos, exclusive behind-the-scenes footage and stuff like that, cast and crew interviews, things like that. And the perk itself is, if you get that perk, we upload all of that stuff, BTS footage, script pages, exclusive script pages, interviews, everything, stuff like that. We upload it to a flash drive, and we send you the flash drive, and then you have your own little personal flash drive with all this personalized things and messages to you and all this exclusive behind the scenes stuff that only you will have access to. So that's a really cool perk that we're excited for. That's a new one that we've never done too. But But yeah, there's some other really cool perks. I'm not going to give them all away. Just check out the Cinematic Reality Facebook page and check out the Indiegogo because there's some cool stuff on there. Well, nope, don't talk about that. So, moving on. Yeah, so, moving on. I know I made a post earlier on Magic Squirrel Network's page of things I'll be talking about tonight. Oh yeah, I don't have that up. I guess I need that. So now I got my note phone and I got the live stream phone. Am I still on the small camera?
Yeah.
All right. Oh yeah, it's got that 10-second ping. I forget about that. Tory Jones, I should have copyrighted Slady Gaga and Shanson cigarettes. It's too late now, bro. You done messed up. Because we're taking it. And actually, Slady Gaga, I think I'm the one that came up with that, so that's mine, B. But yeah, moving on. I know I made a post earlier on Magic Squirrel Network of things I was going to be talking about tonight, and one of the things that I do want to talk about is there's a show on Netflix called Black Mirror. I mean, I guess this isn't really technically horror related, but I mean, at the same time, it kind of is, because Black Mirror in and of itself is a pretty terrifying show, if you really think about it, because it's each episode is really basically based off of, I guess, technology taking over our lives and just destroying the fabric of humanity, I guess you could say. And that is pretty terrifying, because especially in this day and age with the internet and all the social media, and everybody's offended about everything and blah 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 and all this stuff. So I mean, a lot of the things in that show in Black Mirror are pretty plausible and could probably possibly happen. But yes, Black Mirror is a show on Netflix. If you don't watch it, you are doing a severe disservice to yourself, because that show is phenomenal. I think there's 4 seasons now. They're short seasons too. I think they're only like 5 or 6 episodes per season. But the newest season that just came out, I think it just came out just a few weeks ago. It hasn't been out very long, maybe a month or 2 ago, something like that. But the newest season is incredible. And there's 2 episodes in particular that I wanted to touch on tonight. The first episode that I wanted to talk about, I think it's actually the first episode of the new season. It's called the USS Callister, and that episode, holy shit, oh my god, that episode was insanely good. And I liked that episode for several reasons, but one of the biggest reasons that I like that episode is it stars, one of the stars in that episode is an actor named Jimmy Simpson. If anybody watches It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I know I talked about It's Always Sunny last week too, but if anybody watches It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Jimmy Simpson plays plays one of the McPoyle brothers in that show, and he's an excellent comedic actor, but he's such an underrated serious actor too. I've seen him in there was a show back in the day, not back in the day, but like 2009 or 10 or something like that, called Breakout Kings, where it was about these four or five convicts, something like that, 4 or 5 convicts that the police or DEA or somebody brings out of prison. They're serving like life sentences and stuff, or long sentences. And the DEA or whoever it is, the government, brings these prisoners out of prison to help them solve crimes, because they're like top crime, whatever. But Jimmy Simpson was in that show too, and he was so good at it. He was the best part of that whole show. But Travis and his double phones, hipster. Hey, now I gotta have Brandon. Black Mirror is awesome. Previews approves. You heard it here first, folks. Previews approves Black Mirror. Oh, apparently the poster that I was talking about earlier for CR, I didn't know this until just now, but the poster that I was talking about that was hand-drawn by our friend Matt Gordon was a promo poster, and apparently he is drawing up a new official poster for us, so I haven't even seen that. I didn't even know about that, so It's news to me. So that's awesome. I'm excited to see that one. I don't even know if Matt watches, but if you are watching, Matt, I'm excited to see the new poster. I find myself mixing up Black Mirror and Channel Zero, probably because I haven't seen either one of them or Stranger Things. I am a shitty horror fan, Corey. Actually, it's funny you mention, what was it, Channel Zero? It's funny you mention Channel Zero, Corey, because I've heard of that show, but I haven't seen it. I don't even know what channel it's on. I want to say that it's on, like, Sci-Fi.
Channel Zero.
It's oh, yeah, apparently it's on Channel Zero. Damn it, Andrew. Making me look like a fool. But, yeah, Channel Zero, like, I've heard a lot of things about Channel Zero, but I haven't seen it yet. I think it's on Sci-Fi, but I'm not sure. I need to find it because I want to check it out and watch it. TJ has no concept of time. 2 weeks, 2 months. Shut up, Brandon.
Just saying.
How many times do I have to say that I'm terrible with dates and times on this episode? It's becoming like I just need to have a segment on this show where it's just me talking about how terrible with dates and times I am. Get off my case, Brandon. Damn it.
Previews in full effect tonight.
Yeah, previews is in full effect. Yeah, exactly. Damn. Jesus. Anyway, back on track. I'm starting to go off on a tangent again, which you guys should be used to those by now because they happen pretty often. But yeah, back to what the hell happened.
Don't worry, I'll fix it.
Back to Black Mirror though. USS Callister is the first episode of the new season, I think, and it's such a good episode. Like I said, Jimmy Simpson is in it, and he's such an underrated like serious actor, and he's probably one of my favorite actors, to be honest. Like I said, he's really good at comedy. He's really good at serious roles. I just really, really like Jimmy Simpson. And I wish to God I could see more from him, but it just doesn't seem like it seems like he only takes like roles every now and then. Like, I mean, he's not really in a lot of stuff, it doesn't seem like, but I would love to see him in more stuff. But anyway, I'm getting off track. USS Callister is kind of like a Star Trek. I don't want to say rip-off, but I mean, the show in USS Callister is a show in Black Mirror, like Black Mirror's universe or whatever. USS Callister is a show in that universe, and it's kind of like a Star Trek type of show. But the episode itself is one of the main characters. He's like a IT developer or something. I actually just watched this episode just like last week, and I fell in love with it I watched it for the first time like last week, and I fell in love with it because it was so good. But the main character in the show, or in Black Mirror, he's obsessed with this USS Callister show, and he hates his job. Like, he's picked on at work, and like nobody really cares for him, nobody likes him, everybody kind of makes fun of him behind his back and stuff like that. So, and he's obsessed with this USS Callister show. So what he does is he develop, like I said, he's an IT developer or a technology developer or something, but he finds a way to get these people's DNA from his workplace, get their DNA from like coffee cups and straws and uneaten bits of food and stuff like that, gets their DNA from them, and then uploads them into this program that he's got on his laptop at home. And then it's like this virtual world of USS Callister where all of these people that treat him like garbage in the real world are his subordinates, and he's the captain. He's the Captain Kirk of this USS Callister. And it's just such a crazy good episode, and it goes off the rails. It gets pretty crazy as the episode goes on, and it's a long episode too. It's like watching a movie. I think that episode alone is like an hour and a half. And that's another thing that I really like about Black Mirror, is that each episode is like it's an hour plus. There's some episodes, like I said, like USS Callister is like an hour and a half long. There's some episodes where it really is like watching a movie. And so even though the seasons are short, like short episode-wise, like 5 or 6 episodes or whatever, the episodes themselves are pretty long. So it balances out. But yeah, if you haven't watched Black Mirror, I highly, highly recommend that if you have no intention or if you have no intention of ever watching the show, I have to recommend that you at least do yourself a favor and watch USS Callister. If that's the only episode you ever watch, I would watch that one because it's really good. Another episode, which I just watched this morning when I got home from work, it's called, what was that one called? Black Museum, I think? Hold on.
I like the one where they could rewind time and stuff, where they can have all their memories saved.
Oh man, that is a good one too. I forgot about that episode. Yeah, are you talking about the one where
they had
the thing behind the ear or whatever, and they could
see all their memories.
Yeah. I was gonna say something else, but I didn't want to give the episode away. That's why I was struggling to say. But yeah, that is a really good episode too. I can't remember the name of that episode, but that's a good one too. Really, I mean, every episode that I've seen, I think with the exception of maybe one throughout the entire series of Black Mirror, there might be only one episode that I didn't really care for that much, but every other episode is incredible. But and another reason I like Black Mirror, I know I've said this in the past, I've said this on other episodes, it's an anthology series, and you should know by now that I love anthology series. Like, I just love that. I don't know. I just love I like shows with a story, like where every episode ties in together and then it all has a final point, a final climax or whatever. I like shows like that too, but I like TV shows too, like Black Mirror and things like that, where each episode is something new and something different that you haven't seen before. And that's another reason why I like Black Mirror. But another episode, which I actually just watched today, when I got home from work, actually, is called Black Museum. And that episode blew my fucking mind. I'm not going to lie to you. That episode was insane. That episode is about this guy who develops, he's like what could you say? A medical, I guess he develops different medical technologies, I guess you could say. Medical technology developer, we'll call him that. But he creates these different technologies for use in the medical field. And I'm not going to give too much of it away. I don't want to give too much of the episode away, but a couple of the pieces of technology that he develops it's like a hairnet thing. You put a hairnet, this hairnet device over patients who come in with like having heart attacks or broken bones or appendicitis, stuff like that. You put this hairnet on the patient themselves, and then the doctor has this implant behind his ear that connects to this hairnet device and allows the doctor himself to experience and feel all of the sensations and pains and stuff like that the patient itself is going through, and it allows the doctor to be able to better diagnose what is going on with this patient. So if somebody comes in with a heart attack or something, but there could be something else going on, put the hairnet on the patient, doctor tunes into the hairnet device, and then he can find out exactly what the issue is. And the thing about Black Museum, that episode is, there was another episode that was like an hour and 20 minutes long, but there were different segments of that episode where the first segment was about the hairnet device. The second segment was about implanting consciousnesses, if that's even a word. Implanting your consciousness. There we go. I'll say that. Implanting your consciousness for like coma patients, people who are in comas. Implanting a coma patient's consciousness into the mind of a loved one. And that segment was pretty crazy too. The whole entire episode was crazy. But the consciousness episode was about this man and woman. They have a child together. Woman ends up getting hit by a car. I don't want to give too much. I'm already giving too much away. I'm not going to give a lot away, but in the end, they end up implanting her consciousness, because she's in a coma, implanting her consciousness into her husband's mind, and then it just goes off the rails from there. But that's another episode that I would really suggest watching. And the whole entire episode, that episode is basically the guy who developed all this technology. He was blacklisted from the medical community because of all of these technologies that he created. He was blacklisted from the medical community, so he opened up a museum. And in his museum, he's got he's got the hairnet device, he's got a certain object. How do I want to say that without giving it? He's got something in his museum related to the consciousness implantation. He's got that, and he's got a bunch of other things. And the whole episode, it's like 4 different segments where he's talking about each of these different medical devices that he developed, and he goes into a long drawn out story about each one, and it's just a crazy ass episode. So yeah, that's another episode that I highly recommend watching. If you haven't watched the show, you seriously need to, because it's phenomenal. So yeah, there's my Black Mirror plug. I think I've got like 2 or 3 more episodes in the new season that I still need to watch, so I'm probably gonna end up doing that tonight when I get home. But Jimmy Simpson was the bomb in Westworld. Brandon, I have not seen Westworld yet, but I hear, is it good? I've heard nothing but good things about it. That's on HBO, right? Yeah, I've got HBO Go, but I still haven't watched it. I know Brandon has talked about it. Now I've heard you talk about it. I know people at work that watch it too. Like, everybody talks about Westworld. I really need to watch this show, especially now that I know that Jimmy Simpson is in it, because, like I said earlier, Jimmy Simpson is probably one of my favorite actors. Like, actors that a lot of people really don't know of. Like, I mean, I just love Jimmy Simpson. I would love to see him in more stuff. So now that I know that he's in Westworld, I definitely want to check that out. TDI should have a med squad network. Oh, snap, Corey. I like that idea. Corey says, I think that the Diabolical Index and Heckles and Horror should have a Magic Squirrel Network crossover where we discuss the ruins in book and movie form. That's actually a really good idea, because the reason he brings that up is last night on his episode, which unfortunately I missed this part because I was on my way to work and I lost service while I was driving to work while he was live. But I did see that he was talking about the book The Ruins, and I messaged him. We were talking earlier today, and I told him that, oh man, I hate that I missed that part, because The Ruins, I loved the movie, and when I saw the movie way back when it came out, whatever year that was, 2007 or 8 or something like that, whenever the movie came out, shortly after I found out that it was a book, and I didn't know that it was based off of a book, so I went out and bought the book, and I ended up loving the book too. So me and him were talking about that, and I think that's a really good idea, Corey. I think that would be a really cool, cool little crossover episode. I think we should seriously plan that. I know you said that you're planning on doing a Ruins episode at some point, or at least a segment, another segment on the Ruins. So whenever that is, let me know, because I'm definitely interested in talking about the book and the movie. Combine Tangent Man with someone who has focus to read. I didn't say I have a lot of focus to read. I mean, I don't read often. Like, it takes a lot for me to want to read a book. Like, I have to be really, really interested in it. Not that don't get me wrong, I can read, just so everybody knows. I do know how to read. I just don't often prefer to. But The Ruins was an exception. The Ruins was an excellent book. The movie was insane, and like there was a lot of stuff in the book that didn't happen in the movie, and I mean, I know that's typical. You can't fit everything that's in a book into a movie. I get that, but there was just a lot of really crazy stuff that happened in the book too that I was like, oh man, that would have been crazy to see in the movie too. But so yeah, Danielle, I can read even though I go on tangents, and sometimes I do have focus. I can focus on reading. WGN, they have the Tales from the Dark Side. Oh, Tales from the Dark Side and then Monsters. Who is this? Oh, Corey. So Corey remembers Monsters. I talked about Monsters on last week's episode. Yeah, Corey, honestly, dude, you're the only person that I have ever talked to or had any interaction with that has heard of Monsters. I've brought it up to other people. Nobody's ever even heard of it before, but that show's awesome, and I love it. Tales from the Dark Side, that's actually another really good show, and I found the DVD collection for Tales from the Dark Side. I think I found it at Walmart. Like, it's on the shelf for super cheap, too. I haven't picked it up yet, but I want to. But it's also on Amazon, too, for somewhat cheap. Freddy's Nightmares, Friday the 13th, the series. I've never seen Friday the 13th, the series. Please don't hate me, but I have not. Even though I know it's kind of in the vein of like Tales from the Crypt and Freddy's Nightmares and things like that, where it's an anthology series. Each episode is different. But I've never seen Friday the 13th, the series. Yeah. So, yeah, Black Mirror. I'm getting off subject again. Black Mirror's getting caught up on comments and going off on my tangents, so just bear with me. But, so yeah, Black Mirror. So, moving on from that, another show that, if you are not watching, you're doing a huge disservice to yourself. Friday the 13th series is no bueno, according to Danielle Johnson. I've heard that, actually. I've heard that the Friday the 13th series is not really all that great, actually. And that might be one of the reasons why I've never, like, ventured out to... I've never seeked it out to watch it, because I've heard bad things about it. But at the same time, I mean, like I said in previous episodes, I hate to be the type of person that goes off of bad press or bad reviews whenever I watch movies and TV shows. So I'll probably end up getting to it eventually. That's another show that I actually found at Walmart not too long ago. I think I saw it at Walmart for pretty cheap. I didn't pick it up. I should have. But yeah, I've heard bad things about the Friday the 13th series, but I still want to check it out eventually at some point. What Dan Glidewell wants to know, what camera do we use?
This is a Logitech 922.
A Logitech 922, Dan Glidewell, for your voyeuristic concerns. So yeah, another show, moving on from Black Mirror, another show that you should be watching, and if you don't, you're doing a huge disservice to yourself, is the one and only Ash vs. Evil Dead. That show, the third season actually just premiered, I think Sunday or Monday or something like that, just within the last few days. But Ash vs. Evil Dead, oh my god, that show. If you're a fan of Bruce Campbell, or if you're a fan of the original Evil Dead series, Evil Dead 1, 2, Army of Darkness, or anything that Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell have collaborated on, if you're a fan of any of that, Ash vs. Evil Dead comes highly recommended. Yeah, see, Brandon knows Ash vs. Evil Dead is the best horror show on TV. I totally agree. It is the perfect mix of horror, blood, gore, comedy, slapstick. Ash Williams. I mean, you gotta love Bruce Campbell doing slapstick. I mean, that just never gets old, from all the way from the first Evil Dead up to now. But yeah, Ash vs. Evil Dead is another show that if you're not watching, you really need to, because that show is insanely good, and it's one of the funniest, best horror comedy. I want to not just show, but how would you say that? One of the best horror comedy viewing pleasures. Yeah, experiences. There's a good word. I get excited when I talk about Ash vs. Evil Dead. But Sunday or Monday or 3 weeks ago. Brandon, get off my case, bro. Get off my case. God, he's ruthless tonight. Oh, Danielle. Oh, no, girl. No. I've been avoiding Ash vs. Evil Dead because I'm scared it won't compare to the movies. You are out of your mind if you think that. Please, for the love of God, take it from me, and take it from the most cynical person in the world, Brandon Pruitt. Previews coming this spring. Take it from Brandon Pruitt. He says that it's the best horror show on TV. Take it from us, Danielle. Please do yourself a favor and watch Ash vs. Evil Dead, because it's amazing. But yeah, Ash vs. Evil Dead, the third season actually just premiered within the last few days or whatever, and I watched the first episode this morning, actually, after I watched Black Mirror. But I watched the first episode of season 3 of Ash vs. Evil Dead, and oh man, it did not disappoint at all. It was so good. And the first 2 seasons alone were incredible by themselves, but the third season, first episode, did not disappoint. And actually, as a matter of fact, I thought today would be fitting because I knew that I would be talking about Ash vs. Evil Dead, and also, well, I'll get into story time with TJ in a minute, but Ash vs. Evil Dead, I decided to wear a Evil Dead t-shirt because I'm a nerd and I like Evil Dead and I like horror t-shirts. But I thought it was fitting with the theme, talking about Evil Dead. But yeah, the season 3 opener, it did not disappoint. It was really good. Introduced a couple new characters, including Ash's, I don't know if I would say illegitimate, because I mean, she's legitimately his, but Ash's daughter, long lost daughter that he had no idea that he had because he got drunk in Vegas or wherever he was and married some chick that he just met and knocked her up and had a kid 18 years earlier. But yeah, introduction of Ash's daughter. So I mean, that's gonna be a really cool arc for Ash himself, because I mean, up until now, Evil Dead through Army of Darkness, and up till Ash vs. Evil Dead, I mean, you never knew that Ash had a daughter. But so I mean, that's going to be an interesting arc, and I really liked her character too, because I think that I think that whole dynamic between Ash and his daughter's name is Brandy. I think it's Brandy. Yeah, Ash's daughter's name is Brandy. I think that whole dynamic between Ash and Brandy is going to be really interesting, because in the episode, Brandy's mom, I guess, has told Brandy for her whole entire life that her dad is some washed up crackhead who is in prison for something. So she's hated Ash. She's never even met him. She's hated Ash her entire life because she thinks that he's just some crackhead. But so I think that whole dynamic between those two is going to be really interesting. It's going to be really funny, and a lot of big laughs, and a lot of really crazy situations are going to come from that. But I mean, I'm going with previews on this. Don't let me down, Brandon. Yeah, you should seriously listen to Brandon, because if Brandon says it's good, then you know that it's going to be fucking good. And plus, I mean, not to mention, I mean, Ash vs. Evil, I mean, Evil Dead, and I love Evil Dead. As a matter of fact, Evil Dead is the whole reason why I wanted to get into filmmaking. The original Evil Dead, I remember. Actually, I'll get into that because that all ties in with the story time segment tonight. So I will get to that in a minute. But oh, the harp kill. Oh, Brandon, you read my mind, bro. Oh man, I don't want to give it away, but Ash vs. Evil Dead is, in each season there's always Ash kills deadites in that show in some of the craziest. I mean, he's got the typical shotgun blast, chainsaw slices his heads off. He's got those typical kills, but there are some kills that really, really stand out in that show. And episode 3, or season 3, episode 1 that I just watched today, the newest episode, there's one kill in particular. Oh man, I don't want to give it away, but let me just say that it involves a deadite and a harp, and it is the craziest kill I have ever seen in that show. I've seen a lot of really cool kills in movies. Like, one of my favorite kills of all time is in Hatchet, the first Hatchet, Adam Green's Hatchet, where there's a character, I can't remember her name, but she's an old lady, old touristy lady. Victor Crowley comes out of the woods, grabs her by her top jaw and her bottom jaw, and just rips her head in half. That's one of my all-time favorite kills, and I would say that the harp kill in Ash vs. Evil Dead, the new episode of Ash vs. Evil Dead, it's close. It's a close second in my favorite kill, because it was nuts. Oh, Tanya Roberts, hey, what's up? I'm glad you're tuning in. Ash Williams, Jack Reggie, and Ice Cream Man. Oh, Reggie the Ice Cream Man? Oh, I haven't heard that name in forever. Grandpa. Wrote a horror screenplay for years. Truck Stop of the Damned. I think that'd be interesting. I'll I'll read it out loud. I've been brainstorming an Ash Williams, Jack Burton, Reggie the Ice Cream Man from Phantasm, Grandpa from The Lost Boys, road horror screenplay for years entitled Truck Stop of the Damned. Those are some interesting characters to throw into one project, and I'm on board. Let's do it. Tangents on tangents. You're damn right. So yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea, Danielle. I like that idea. Do a show about badass kills. That is actually a really good idea. Maybe I will do.
Segment.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, that's a good.
For next week.
Yeah, there we go. Next week. Yeah, okay, there we go. Because I said earlier that the story time with TJ segment tonight, I don't have enough story. Like, I've got a lot of stories, but some of them don't really pertain to like horror, and a lot of them aren't. A lot of them really aren't appropriate either. But I've got a lot of stories, but I don't want to run out of stories too fast. So maybe I'll put like a movie kill of the week or something, and that'll be a segment for an episode. I like that, Danielle. See, you're an idea girl. I like that. Oh yeah, the frozen face slam from Jason X, Brandon. That's a really good kill.
Terrible movie though.
or Andrew just straight from left field. Terrible movie. It's not. I'll give you that. It's not the greatest of the Friday the 13th series, but yeah, it's a guilty pleasure movie. That's one of those movies. It's a guilty pleasure movie. Yeah. You don't tell people that you like it.
You pull it out. You put it in the DVD player. Somebody comes in, you hurry up and turn it off.
Yeah, exactly. Oh. Are you watching Jason X? Nope.
No,
I'm watching porn. I swear I'm watching porn. Yeah, Jason X is one of those movies, God, where you use porn as a cover so people don't know that you're watching Jason X. But Jason X is a guilty pleasure movie. But God, but yeah, the face slam kill in Jason X, that is a great kill though, Brandon. God, I'm watching porn. Oh man. So anyway, yeah, the harp kill in the new episode of Ash vs. Evil Dead is amazing. It's so awesome, and like I said, it ranks right up there with the face rip in half from Hatchet. So yeah, Ash vs. Evil Dead, I would definitely check that one out. And as a matter of fact, I wanted to say this: Ash vs. Evil Dead, the season 3 almost didn't even happen, and which sucks because I fell in love. A lot of fans of the original series, of the original the original series, not Ash vs. Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness. Fans of that are, I mean, it's getting great reviews from fans of those movies, and the new season 3 almost didn't even happen because of the rampant. The small one?
No, I was having your mic's in your face.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. But yeah, season 3 of Ash vs. Evil Dead almost didn't even happen because of rampant online pirating, which sucks because it is, like Brandon said earlier, and like we were just talking about a minute ago, Ash vs. Evil Dead is the best horror TV. I mean, it's a horror. It's basically a horror comedy, but I'm just going to call it horror because, I mean, it is. But Ash vs. Evil Dead is the best horror series on TV, and it really, really caters to the horror fan. I mean, it's got, like I said, it's got the blood, the guts, the gore, the crazy kills, awesome character. I mean, it really caters to the horror fan. And season 3 almost didn't even happen because of rampant online pirating. And it sucks because it's such a good show and I'm such a huge fan, and I know Brandon's a huge fan, and I know so many other people are huge fans of this show. And the fact that people pirate it so badly and that it almost didn't happen is so disappointing. I mean, I don't want to justify it, but I understand why people are pirating because it's on a premium cable movie channel. It's on Stars. I mean, I understand why people, because I mean, people do, nobody in this day and age, nobody has nobody uses cable really. I mean, everything's online. I mean,
Share
Netflix,
passwords.
Hulu. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. But I mean, I understand why people are pirating it, but I cannot stress enough because I mean, like I said, a lot of people don't have Stars. It's a premium movie network, but you can find Ash vs Evil Dead on. I think you can find it on Amazon for super cheap, like $2 or $3 an episode, and I mean it's super cheap. And there's 10 episode seasons, so $2 or $3, that's $20 or $30 to watch the entire season, or to watch the entire season. But I can't stress enough, watch and I'm segueing into another point, but I cannot stress enough, please don't pirate stuff. Because it ruins it for everybody else. Because like I said, season 3 almost didn't even happen, and if it wouldn't have,
Pirating is like death almost.
yeah, I mean, pirating is like it seriously is. Andrew brings up a good point. Pirating is. It seriously is. It can be a death sentence to a movie or TV show or a company. I mean, it really can be.
Especially a small indie one.
Yeah, especially small indie ones, which that's what I was segueing into. I know that The Wicked One, which is a movie that we produced in 2016, and Sean Burkett's first Don't Fuck in the Woods, both of those movies are notoriously pirated. Don't Fuck in the Woods, I think at one point, Sean made a post at one point about how many times, like he did the math or somehow found out how many times the first Don't Fuck in the Woods was pirated, and it was some crazy astronomical amount. And I know The Wicked One has been pirated a lot too, and that really does hurt the people involved. I mean, so yeah, I mean, I can't stress enough, please don't pirate, especially our stuff. And Ash vs. Evil Dead. But the silver lining to, I don't want to say silver lining. I mean, well, for lack of a better term, I'll say silver lining. The silver lining to, I actually just saw this today, that Bruce Campbell I think that he did an interview with like Bloody Disgusting or something like that. But today Bruce Campbell, I saw something online shared that Bruce Campbell said that and this is the silver lining to if, God forbid, Ash vs. Evil Dead gets canceled. If it does get canceled, there are talks of a new Evil Dead movie. So I think that would be pretty cool, because aside from the remake, which I'm a huge fan of the Evil Dead remake. Hate me if you will, I don't really care. I love the remake of Evil Dead. It's one of the best remakes that I've seen in a long time. But yeah, the silver lining to, like I said, if, God forbid, Evil Dead or Ash vs. Evil Dead gets canceled, there is a possibility of another movie, and I would totally be on board with that. Especially if Rob Tappert, Sam Raimi, obviously Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell would be involved, but Ted Raimi, as long as everybody that made the movies great and makes the show great, as long as everybody is involved with that, I think that would be fucking awesome. And there's actually even, not really a petition, but I've seen people online saying that they would like to see a Ash Williams and Mia from the Evil Dead remake, Ash and Mia team up. And I think that'd be pretty cool, because if you watch the remake of Evil Dead, there's a post-credit scene. Mia is the main character. She's basically the Ash Williams of the remake. But if you watch the Evil Dead remake, there's a post-credit scene where right at the end, Bruce Campbell, you've just got like a side silhouette of Bruce Campbell's face, and he looks at the camera and he says "groovy," and like from then on, like, I mean, it's been a horror nerd's wet dream to see. And this was before like Ash vs. Evil Dead even started, but it's been a horror nerd's wet dream that Evil Dead with Ash Williams, with Bruce Campbell, would be revived. And they did that in Ash vs. Evil Dead, and since then people have been saying that they would like to see an Ash and Mia team up, which I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think that'd be pretty fucking awesome myself. But Arb Giller's up there, Flawful Giller Clan. We were talking earlier about Jason X being a guilty pleasure movie and blaming it on porn. Apparently, Danielle does not like Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I love that movie.
See, you're in the minority here, Danielle.
Clowns, you say?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Holy shit. I like Killer Clowns. Andrew likes Killer Clowns. Brandon likes Killer Clowns. You're in the minority here. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you.
What more can you ask for when they turn them into
cotton candy
and
cocoons.
with a straw?
I know, right?
Totally original.
Totally original. It is. Yeah, I agree, Brandon. If Ash vs. Evil Dead wasn't on Stars, it wouldn't be pirated so bad. Also, I can't imagine that... Oh, yeah, that's another thing, too. I didn't even think about that. That's a good point. He said, also, I can't imagine that filming in New Zealand is cheap. That's another good point. For some reason, I don't understand why, but...
It looks like Miami.
What?
Ash vs. Evil Dead. It looks like Miami.
There at one point they did an episode where he was in like Miami, but for the most part it's like small town.
Then I must have just watched that one.
Yeah, that must be the one that you watched. I think so. Yeah.
I watched the first season.
But yeah, that's another thing too.
Didn't have stars.
Yeah, well, you're part of the problem, Andrew. No.
I didn't download it. I'm just saying, like, that one was free. Like they let you.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, because I did the same thing too when the first season started. Because I think if you go to the Stars website, I think you can watch the first episode of either each season or the first episode of the whole series for free on Stars's website. But I think that's what I did too when it first came out, because I was like, oh man, I have to see this. So I went to Stars website. Like, oh,
yeah,
I know it does suck, but yeah, exactly. But yeah, I do agree that if it wasn't on Stars, it wouldn't be pirated so bad. Because like I said, it's a premium movie network. And plus, like he said, they do film, for some reason, they film Ash vs. Evil Dead in New Zealand. I don't understand why they did that. I don't know if there's like a big tax credit that they get for filming in New Zealand or what.
Right there, we disagree, my good fellow. The Evil Dead remake can go suck a fuck.
Who said that?
Corey.
Corey, no! Oh, I thought we were friends, man. I'm severely disappointed right now that you didn't like the Evil Dead remake. It can suck a fuck.
Told him I like his mouth words.
Yeah, you got good mouth words, Corey. I like the way you talk. God. But yeah, for some reason they film in New Zealand. I don't understand why, because I mean, I assume that I know that they have to fly their actors into New Zealand, but I have to assume to save money that they don't bring crew from the States. I have to assume that they hire New Zealander filmmaker company, Zoolander. I don't know, New Zealand film production company, like crew to shoot the show. But yeah, New Zealand, I mean, I can't imagine that can be a cheap venture. Oh, Shannon. Hey, Shannon. Hey, what's up, good looking? But yeah, prove you motto right there.
The cloud and the silver lining or something.
Yeah, for every silver lining there is a cloud. Yeah, that's a good motto for you, Brandon. Previews has spoken.
Tell me it has to be a thing now.
Yeah, see, everybody wants previews, dude. Everybody wants it, so you need to do it. But yeah, Brandon also said I don't see the Evil Dead remake as a remake. I see it as a part 4. I actually I do kind of agree with that, actually. Because I mean the general idea of the movie. I mean, they find the ancient Sumerian book, the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, Book of the Dead. That's all generally the same. But I saw it as I just say remake because I mean that's just a generalization. But I saw it as I could say that I saw it as a part 4 too, because I mean it was all new people. There was no mention of anything that had ever happened in the past with Ash or anything. I don't even think. But yeah, I do agree with that, Brandon. But I mean, like I said, I just say remake as a generalization because that's what a lot of people see it as. But Corey, I'm back to your comment again. I'm so upset. You really hurt my feelings tonight. But so yeah, I think I've talked enough about Ash vs. Evil Dead. But so like I said earlier, I was segueing into another point that I was going to make. Speaking of Evil Dead, it's time for, I think we'll move on to the story time with TJ segment. I don't think we have a graphic for that, do we? I need to get you a graphic.
I pulled one up.
Oh, did you?
Yep.
Weighing into another point that I was going to make. Speaking of Evil Dead, it's time for, I think we'll move on to the story time with TJ segment. I don't think we have a...
It's my favorite time. What time is it? Is it story time? Story time? Story time. Well, story time. Could be.
That was terrible, but...
We're working on the song.
I put it off at the wrong time. It was down.
God. Oh, I see the little... Yeah, I like that little graphic.
It was good.
Yeah, the song, we're working on it. Story time. I've been positive about... Brandon, I've been positive about all of the movies and shows tonight. The previews mojo is gone. God. Well, I'm glad that you approve of tonight's topics, Brandon. So yeah, moving on. Story time with TJ. I've been talking about Ash vs. Evil Dead. Like I mentioned earlier, Evil Dead and the Evil Dead movies are the biggest reason why I wanted to get into filmmaking anyway. I first watched my friend when I grew up in a small town, and my friend that lived up the road from me, he was a huge fan of Evil Dead. It was like one of his favorite movies. And when I was like, I don't know, 10, really young, like 10 or 11 or something like that, I used to stay over at his house all the time, and we'd watch movies and shit. And there was one night that I stayed over at his house, and he was like, "Have you ever seen Evil Dead?" And I was like, "No, I've never seen that. Let's watch it." And so we watched it, and I fell in love with that movie. I fell in love with the movie itself. And like as I grew up, the Evil Dead series, the 1 and 2, Army of Darkness, which if you haven't seen Army of Darkness is fucking phenomenal too. I love that movie. As I grew older, my love for that series just grew and grew and grew, and like it just really I wanted to be able to do that. And I don't even know where I was going with that point. But so yeah, Evil Dead, that's what I was going to use as a segue. So me and my friend Josh, I used to stay at his house all the time, watched the original Evil Dead series. As we got older, we grew up together, we went to school together. As we grew older, fast forward several years to high school. When we were seniors in high school, we shortly after we graduated, we found out that Bruce Campbell was doing a book signing for his first book. His first book, I can't remember if it was, I think it was If Chins Could Kill, like Confessions of a B-Movie Actor. He's got like 3 or 4 books out now. I can't remember what the first one was called, but he was doing a book signing for his first book that he wrote, an autobiography or whatever. And shortly after we graduated, we found out that he was doing a book signing in Cincinnati, and we grew up in southeastern Indiana. So, I mean, it was only like a 40-minute drive, 20, 30, 40-minute drive, whatever. So before this book signing, me and my friend Josh, who he was a huge fan of Evil Dead 2, or Evil Dead also, made the decision, like we did a bunch of internet searching and to try and find out where the original cabin for that they shot the original Evil Dead movie in. And come to find out, they filmed it in a town in Tennessee called Morristown. So after we graduated, we put together a little road trip, packed up my car full of essentials and provisions and whatnot, and we took off down to Tennessee for like a 5 or 6 hour drive to Morristown in search of the Evil Dead cabin. Because then the whole reason that we wanted to go to this cabin, let me give you some context. But the whole reason that we wanted to go to this cabin was because in Bruce Campbell's book, he said that after they finished filming, underneath the floor of the cabin, they buried like a time capsule type thing. It had like if I remember right, I think it had like a script, an original script that they used, and I think they all signed it. A vial or a jar of fake blood, which they used like Caro syrup and food coloring. A jar or a vial of fake blood, a couple spent shotgun shells, and a couple other things if I remember right. But that was the driving force behind us going to this location, because we wanted to find that time capsule, because we knew that we were going to be meeting Bruce Campbell in a couple weeks. But we were young and dumb and probably didn't go about the whole trip as well as we should have. But 2030 Brandon, for real, from to you. Okay, Brandon said 20, 30, 40 minutes drive to 1 to 3 hours. It only takes you that long because whenever you come from Cincinnati, you go to Roman's house or you go to the CR location. That's why it takes you so long. But from where I live to Cincinnati, I mean, it's really not that bad. It really is only like 30 minutes. So, yeah, I mean, it's really not that bad. It's not 1 hour or 3 hours. It's only because you go so much further. So, Brandon. But, so yeah, back to what I was saying. We probably didn't go about the whole planning of the trip as well as we should have. But anyway, I'll get to that because this story takes some turns. So anyway, shortly after we graduate, jump in my car, head down south to Morristown, Tennessee, looking for this Evil Dead cabin. The car that I had at the time, it was an old shitty, beat up, not really beat up, but it was just an old shitty, like, Dodge Neon. And it had a really bad overheating problem. I think it had, like, an antifreeze leak, and plus the fans in it. The motor fans didn't work, so every time I would drive for a certain amount of time, motor would start overheating. So I would have to pull over so it could cool off. And a lot of times I would pop my hood to where it's just holding on by the latch, and I would drive like that and use the force of the highway winds to to cool my engine as I drove.
Dude, that's normal.
Yeah, that's normal. That's normal. It really sucked. But so anyway, we're driving down to Tennessee. Car's overheating like crazy all the way down, and at one point we get close enough to the town. I need to stop for gas and get a couple more food or whatever, and go to the bathroom, things like that. So we stop at this gas station, and we go into the gas station. I'm like 18, freshly graduated from high school. Go into this gas station. I got to go to the bathroom. So I go, and I do my business, and as I'm getting ready to leave the bathroom, they've got a condom machine. And like I said, I'm 18. I'd never seen a condom machine at a gas station before, so I was like, I wonder if it just comes out like a condom, or like, is it in something, or what is? So I bought a condom. Well, for no reason other than I was just curious. So I put the 50 cents or however much it was for this condom in this machine. It came out in a little square box, and I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. I wondered what it would look like. So I put it in my pocket, completely forgot about it, and left. So we get gas, get back in the car, and we continue driving down to Morristown. And when we get down to Morristown, we find out that the cabin itself, it's like what we thought anyway. We thought that we had like a location. So we're driving down all these really windy ass back roads, and like Tennessee back roads too, like gravel back roads, super thin, can hardly fit your car through it. So we're driving around, and goddamn course, my car starts overheating. So there we find a church, and by the time we get down there, it's like, I don't know, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. By the time we get down there, it's really late. So we find this church, this really backwoods, like, praise with snakes type of church. And it was closed, obviously, because it was so late. They had the gates up in front of the driveway so that you couldn't pull into the parking lot or whatever, but they had like a small little pull off. So I pulled into this little pull off, turned my car off. Like I said, back road, middle of the woods, no lights, no road lights, no nothing. Super pitch black dark, so I just pull off, turn my car off. I'm letting my car cool down a little bit. Me and my friend Josh were just talking. We're going to let it cool down. We're going to get back on our journey to try to find this cabin. So, as we're sitting there talking, I keep seeing a car in my rearview mirror drive by, like back and forth. Like he drove by like 5 or 6 times. And then on like the 5th or 6th time, all of a sudden, red and blue lights come on. Oh, shit. Here we go. So this was the start of our problems, and it just went downhill. Downhill from here. Red and blue lights. Cop pulls up, and we get 2 deputies. They were assholes too. Get 2 deputies. One comes up on each side of my car. One comes up to me, one comes up to my friend Josh. And I'm like, oh, what are you boys doing? So I roll down the windows. Oh, what are you boys doing? And we're talking to the cops. What are you boys doing? I see you got, because we're from Indiana. I see you got out of town plates. What are you doing down here? You know, it's like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, whatever. And we're like, yeah, I know. We're down here. We took a little road trip. We're trying to find a cabin from a movie that we're fans of. And they're like, movie? What kind of movie? And we're like, oh, it's a horror movie. My friend Josh, like I was talking to the cop on my side. My friend Josh was talking to the cop on his side. And as I'm talking to my cop, I hear my friend Josh say, oh, it's a movie called Evil Dead. It's a cult classic. And all of a sudden I hear the cop say, cult? What kind of cult are you boys in? And I was like, oh shit. Yep, here we go. So after my friend Josh makes the mistake of saying the word cult to these backwoods-ass, country-ass hick cops, they make us get out of the car. Surprise, surprise. So, and I should state, before we left, because, god damn it, before we left Indiana, because like I said, the time capsule that we were in search of was buried under the cabin, so me being the genius that I am, threw a shovel and a hoe into my trunk, but it was too big to fit in the trunk because, like I said, I drove a Dodge Neon. Trunks weren't that big, so I had to fold down the back seat. So I had the shovel and the hoe part in the back seat. So we're in this back-ass country road in the middle of the woods being questioned by the police with a shovel and a hoe in the back seat. So make us get out of the car. They're searching us, obviously, because we're a bunch of young punks in snake country. Search us. And it was at this moment that I forgot that I had a condom in my pocket that I bought from a gas station. So, cop searching us, pulls everything out of my pockets. He finds that condom that I bought just out of curiosity. Finds that condom, looks at it, looks at me, looks at my friend Josh, and he goes, looks like you boys are going to have a good time tonight. And I'm like, oh my God, son of a bitch. So, not only did I have a condom in my pocket, but I'm down there with my friend Josh, and I've got a shovel and a hoe in the back seat. Thankfully, if I remember right, I don't think he even noticed the hoe and shovel. And if he did, I think we just told him we were looking for, we were going to try to find this time capsule or whatever. But he was under the impression that we were down there for a good old homoerotic time.
A good old hold down.
a good old hold down. So yeah. So anyway, they're questioning us, and like I said, these cops were fucking dicks. Just really disrespectful, really big dickheads. I guess they thought that we were down there trying to sell meth or make meth or something, I don't know. But thankfully, our luck turned around, because after they'd questioned us for about 10 minutes, all of a sudden another cop pulled up and flipped his lights on and walked up, and it turns out it was the sheriff of this Morristown, or wherever we were, Morristown, I guess. Yeah, Morristown. Sheriff of this town, and he walked up, and he's like, oh, what are you boys doing around here? And thought he was going to be a dick too, but thankfully he wasn't. He was like, "Oh, what are you boys doing down here?" And we told him the exact same thing that we told the other two cops. We're like, "Oh, we're big fans of this movie, Evil Dead. We're down here to find the cabin that they filmed the movie." I was like, "Evil Dead, oh, that's a great movie. I remember when they filmed that movie down here. I love that movie, blah, blah, blah." And he turned out to be like a huge fan of the movie itself and a big fan of Bruce Campbell. So that really, really helped us out. And so he ended up basically telling the two deputies to basically told him to fuck off and go do something else. And we sat there and talked to this sheriff for like, I don't know, a good 15 or 20 minutes just about movies and stuff. And he's like, "So what are do you boys?" He told us that, what was it? He said that we were, for one, in the wrong area. Like we were a few, like a county over or something. But he was like, well, he gave us directions to how to get to the actual place, but then he was like, "I would be careful going out there. I wouldn't go out there at night because this is the guy who owns that land. He's got guns and he's not afraid to use them." So he basically told us that if we went to this place and trespassed on this guy's land, which that was the original plan, because like I said, we were young and stupid, we would get shot and killed. So that kind of scared us a little bit. So we were like, "Oh, well, maybe we'll just wait until the next day." And so he's like, "So, well, do you guys know how to get back?" And we're like, "No, we got turned around. We're lost. We're in these back-ass country woods. Don't know where the hell we're at." And he's like, "All right, well, follow me. I'll guide you out." So he guided us out. And the whole way, like, there were deer and everything off in fields and everything. He was shining the spotlight and showing us all these deer and everything. And my car started overheating again. That fucking car started overheating again, so I had to like wave the cop down and tell him that I had to pull over because my car was overheating. And he got out and came up and stood with us and talked to us for like another 15 or 20 minutes while my car cooled down. And then he finally guided us out, got us back to civilization. But by that time we were so frustrated with the whole police thing and the fact that they thought that we were going to be banging each other that we just turned around and came home and we never found the cabin. So that was kind of a disappointment because I was really excited to see that cabin, even though sometime after I found out that the cabin itself had burned down shortly after they had filmed the movie. So really, we probably would have never even found the thing anyway because it no longer existed. And as years had gone by, I mean, other people, that place had been ransacked anyway. Somebody else had found the time capsule. I don't know who did, or I don't know when they found it, but it was a disappointment not to find it. But yeah, that's the story of how me and my friend went to find the Evil Dead cabin.
I think Corey's wanting to make another show.
Corey?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
For Magic Squirrel, he wants to do it like... So we'll talk about it in a little bit.
Oh, okay. Oh, Kara! What up, Kara? I think that came right. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. So yeah, that's my my Evil Dead story. Like I said, I've got several other stories to tell. Some of them are, like I said, not really appropriate. Because a lot of them are like music festival stories. But I do have other stories from like conventions and stuff that I've gone to. Yeah, Brandon, the cabin was destroyed. Like I said, I think it burned down. I don't know if it burned down like a short time after they filmed the first movie or if it was like several years later, but it is burned down. It was destroyed. It is no longer there.
The capsule might be there if they buried it.
Yeah, I mean the capsule might still be there, but I'm pretty sure I saw something on like years and I'm almost positive that I saw something like years ago saying that somebody found it, but I can't remember. Or maybe it was in another one. Because like I said, Bruce Campbell's got like 3 books. I mean, he might have mentioned it or something, but if it is still there, I still want the goddamn thing. But if it's not, whoever did find it, you are a lucky bastard. Still a jughead.
You said that.
Kara, this chick. But yeah, so yeah, that's my Evil Dead story. So that's been story time with TJ. More stories to come. But so now now that that's over with, we're at an hour 15. I think now is a good time to move into the review section.
The rants were strong with this one.
Yeah, the rants were strong with this one. I got off track a few times. So now we're gonna move on really quick into the movie review section for last week's movie, WTF. Are we gonna play the trailer again?
Yeah, we can.
So everyone's memories are refreshed.
You can keep talking.
Last week's movie was WTF. That's the movie that I'm going to be talking about tonight. We're going to play the trailer for you here in a minute as soon as Andrew gets it queued up. And then after that, I'm going to give you next week's homework for next week's episode, the movie that is on the docket. You got it ready to go? All right, we're going to play the trailer for WTF, and here it is, and then we're going to talk about it. So watch.
Going through what she's gone through, what does that do to a person?
Some crazy guy killed a bunch of her friends, and she's the only one who survived.
Popping back and forth, 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 popping back and forth.
Can't believe we're about to graduate. This is our last spring break together. We should definitely do something fun.
I got it. 2 words. The woods. Just picture it, right? It's a secluded cabin, way far in the woods. Nearest neighbor's like a mile away. Oh, best part about it, it's got no working smoke alarms.
Oh, wait, so scared. Creepy cabin in the woods all by itself.
I need to conquer my fear. I think that this would be a good first step.
You folks ought to take heed. I wouldn't go there if I were you.
Rachel, we need to know everything that happened that night.
We drove into the middle of nowhere. And that's where it all started.
Who's there?
Is someone there?
Die!
He's dead. He's dead.
Jake, are we supposed to trust you? You can't even get your story straight.
What were you doing in there?
I was trying to protect us. Why aren't you starting?
The old man is gone.
I'm gonna find them, and I'm gonna bring them back. I'm gonna get us all out of here.
I said psycho killer! What don't you understand? No!
Good. So yeah, that was the trailer for last week's movie, WTF.
Next
But-
time the volume will be up for the next trailer. So.
Do what?
Tell them the volume will be up for the next trailer.
Yeah, we didn't realize that the volume was down a little bit. I don't know if it was like, I don't know if you heard any of it or not, but next trailer that we're going to be playing for next week's movie, it'll be turned up. That was our bad. But before I do move on, I forgot to show this when I was talking about Evil Dead and Bruce Campbell and everything. A few years ago, there's a bookstore here in Cincinnati. What is that? Where's Northgate at? Northgate Mall.
Half Price Books?
Yeah, Half Price. What area is that?
Northgate.
Northgate.
Coleraine.
Coleraine. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what I was trying to think of. There's an area here in Cincinnati, right up the road from where we are right now. There's a little town called Coleraine, and there's a bookstore there called Half Price Books. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with Half Price Books, but I was in there not too long, like a few years ago, and
A week ago.
yeah, a week ago or a few years. It was a week to a few years ago. God. But yeah, I was in there a few years ago, and I found this Army of Darkness. Is it that camera?
This one?
Yeah. You said that one, right? Mm-hmm. This Army of Darkness. Army of Darkness. Action. It's an action figure, not a doll. But this Army of Darkness Evil Ash action figure. And I saw it, and I had to have it because I thought it was so... This way? Because I thought it was so awesome. And like I said, I'm a huge fan of the Army of Darkness movie. And to see this Evil Ash action figure at this bookstore, and I'm not going to lie, it was kind of expensive. But totally worth it. But because I like it so much, Ted Raimi, I went to a convention, I think it was Days of the Dead in Indianapolis. Yeah, I think it was Days of the Dead in Indianapolis. Ted Raimi was there, and I had him autograph the front of it. And my goal is, I think Bruce Campbell is going to be doing a convention here at some point, somewhere close by. I think maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe he's going to be at a. I can't remember. I could have swore that I saw him that he was going to be doing a convention soon. But my goal is to get Bruce Campbell to sign it too. But yeah, I wanted to show that. Another show and tell. I know what did I show last week?
It was Unlucky Charms.
Oh yeah, last week I had Unlucky Charms for the Charles Band future episode that we'll be doing. But yeah, that was another show and tell thing that I wanted to show off because I like it and because I can, because it's my show.
Back to what the fuck?
Yeah, back to what the fuck. Oh well, apparently Kara said that the show or the volume was good. Brandon said, "Damn, you beat me to your own joke." I knew you were going to be going there, Brandon, so I had to beat you. But so yeah, back to WTF. We just played the trailer for you. That was the movie that I chose last week that I was going to be reviewing on tonight's episode, and I really wanted to like this movie. That's never a good way to start out a review. I really wanted to like this movie. I really liked the poster to it. I liked that it was. I liked the description on Amazon, how it sounded like it was going to be a slasher movie. And it started out the way that it started out within the first, I don't know, 40 seconds maybe. Chick got an axe to her, like straight to her forehead, just right there.
And you saw titties.
Yeah, and there was titties too within like the first 40. So all in all, within the first minute, there was boobs and an axe to the face kill. So I mean, I was like, this movie's gonna be awesome. But it was not. I mean, it had good qualities, I guess I'll say. I mean, it did have some good qualities, but it was just a really predictable movie. Which I mean, I get that with any slasher movie. You know that, I mean, it's any slasher movie is going to be predictable. I get that, but I mean the twist. Got a hair in my mouth. Yeah, the twist. I really wanted to like TJ. Brandon, you're not allowed to watch anymore, Brandon. God,
he's grounded.
You're grounded from Heckles Horror. Oh, yeah, Danielle. See, I had to emphasize the band this time because I knew that if I mispronounced it again, you'd be giving me shit. So, Brandon sucks. Bitch cakes from Jack Norman. Jack, don't you mean birch cakes? Because I'm pretty sure that's your signature insult, birch cake. But yeah, back to WTF. I understand that slashers are usually typically pretty predictable, but they tried to do a twist in this movie that wasn't your typical slasher twist, but they failed horribly because it was terribly predictable. I'm not going to give it away, but it was really predictable. I figured out the twist within probably the first 40 minutes or so, probably even earlier than that.
I didn't even watch it all.
Yeah, Andrew watched it too, or tried to watch it. He didn't finish all of it. I don't know how far he got. Oh, the dick ripping off. Yeah, there's a part where a guy gets his dick ripped off too. So if you do watch it, be prepared for that. But the dick ripping off. But yeah. What was I gonna say? Where was I going with that?
Predictable.
Oh yeah, predictable. It did have a couple of the kills were kind of cool. But for the most part, the movie was really predictable. Another thing that I really didn't like about the movie was the fact that I would say probably I'll lowball it and say, and this is still going to sound high, but I'm going to lowball it and say probably 70% of the dialogue throughout the entire movie was obnoxiously screamed at you. And it was just really, it got on my nerves after the first 10 minutes
and they had hookers
of them screaming.
There's no reason to have the hookers in there.
Hookers?
Yeah, Yeah, when they're at the hotel, they had others.
Oh yeah, that's another. Like I didn't even understand though. Yeah. For some reason they stopped. Yeah. That's all it was gratuitous nudity. That's all that was. Which I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm all right with gratuitous boobs.
I'm not watching Jason X.
God. But yeah, he brings up a good point. There was one part in the movie where the group of friends stop at a hotel, and there's just randomly 2 hookers outside, and then they bang, and then that's it. That's the end of the hookers. I mean, it was just a really weird movie. I mean, I think that they thought that they had a really good idea, but they didn't execute it well. I'll say that. They thought that they had a good idea, and it could have been good, but they didn't execute it very well. They could have really went about the twist a little bit differently, or a little bit better. It was just really, what is the word that I want to say? I don't know. You could see it from a mile away, the twist that was coming up. Plus, not to mention the girl, one of the main girls. I'm not going to say anything about her, but one of the main girls in the movie, I didn't really like her character very much. She was just really kind of annoying.
Screams out of nowhere?
No, the chick with the twist. I don't want to get the chick with the twist. Don't look. but yeah, that girl. Or what girl are you talking about? Screams out of nowhere.
That's the same person.
Oh, yeah. But yeah. So me and him are on the same page. But yeah, I didn't really like her. Like, I mean, I thought she kind of got on my nerves.
Debbie Downer.
Yeah, Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The Debbie Downer of the movie. She got on my every last nerve. She didn't seem very believable in the role, and I just didn't think that she was really all that good. She really got on my nerves. But Kara, yes, this is a weekly show. It was bi-weekly, but this is the first of the weekly edition. But yeah, from here on out, it is going to be weekly because that's what people were excited for it, and people wanted to see it weekly. So yes, Kara, it is weekly. If you ask him, he'll say weekly, monthly, yearly. I'm getting it from both angles now. I can't catch a break with Danielle and Brandon. God. Jesus. Yes, it's a weekly show or a monthly show, but it could be yearly, Kara. But no, don't listen to these people. They're a bunch of assholes. It's Monday, or it's weekends. Or, no, it's weekly. Damn it. Weekly. Tuesdays, 10 o'clock-ish.
As close to 10 o'clock as we can get.
As close to 10 o'clock on Tuesdays as we could possibly get. God. So, but yeah, WTF. If you like slashers and you like terribly made slashers, watch it. It's worth the watch just because it's got some cool. Like I said, it's got a couple really cool kills in it. But for the most part, it's really kind of an annoying movie. So, I mean, if you're feeling frisky, check it out. You can watch it. I wasn't a huge fan as much as I wanted to like the movie, but I'm using this whole this movie review thing as a way to watch movies that have been on my list anyway for a long time, and WTF had been on my list for a while, so I'm glad that I watched it to get it knocked off the list, but at the same time, I just really wasn't that huge of a fan of it. So watch it if you want to, or don't. You're really not missing out on much. So there's the movie review. Now we're going to move on to next week's movie. I have not seen the trailer for this. I don't really know much about this movie, but I just found it on Netflix earlier. The thing that caught my eye the most was the fact that it's got Jessica Alba and Tom Jane. Tom Jane, which you know him from Punisher. He was also in a movie with what the hell was it? Oh man.
Somebody probably commented.
What's the dude from 1408? Brandon Pruitt. 1408. What's the guy's name from 1408? But yeah, Tom Jane, he was in The Punisher. He was in this movie with I know his name, I just can't think of it. But he was in a movie called, I think, Drive Hard or something with this other actor.
Thomas Jane?
Yeah, Tom Jane, and then
Jessica Alba.
Yeah, it's got Tom Jane and Jessica Alba in it.
Ben Grant?
No, look up
Robert Ben Grant?
No,
Directed by Phil Story. I'll keep going, man. You're good.
But anyway, so yeah. Come for the horror, stay for the heckles. Damn right. That's going to be this show's motto. But anyway, it's got Tom Jane and Jessica Alba in it. So those were two reasons why I wanted to watch this movie. Why I added John Cusack. That's his name. Damn it. Yes, John Cusack. Tom Jane's in another movie with John Cusack called, I want to say that it's called Drive Hard or Drive. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but that movie was awesome.
Have you said the name of this movie yet?
No, I have not. I don't think so. Anyway, yeah, I haven't even said the name of the movie. But anyway, all right, moving on. I'm getting on a tangent.
I wish I was because I was going to pull it up. But
I'm doing that now. Anyway, this episode's movie for next week is called The Veil. And the reason that I wanted to watch this movie was because I haven't seen the trailer for it, but on Netflix, I saw that it had Jessica Alba and Tom Jane in it, which I really like Tom Jane a lot. Jessica Alba, she's all right. I mean, I don't mind. Jessica Alba's all right. But I do like Tom Jane. Also, the description on Netflix said that it was about a documentary film crew. So part of me kind of thought that it might be found footage, but I can't really imagine Jessica Alba and Tom Jane doing a found footage movie. So I kind of doubt that it is. But so yeah, we're going to play the trailer for you. It's going to be new to me too. I haven't seen it.
She's all right.
So here's the trailer for The Veil, and that's going to be next week's movie for you people to watch. And I'm going to keep going because it's not queued up yet. Oh. But, yeah. The Veil. I actually had another movie that I was going to pick. I can't remember what it was, but it's been on my list for a long time. But, as I was going through, I found out that it was, it was a foreign movie. It was a foreign movie. I think it was like a Spanish movie or something like that. And I didn't want to give people a homework assignment to watch a subtitled movie because I know some people like subtitles, some people don't. So I decided to go with an American English movie. But here's the trailer for The Veil. Check it out. So yeah, that was the trailer for The Veil. Like I said, that. Oh.
We know that.
Oh yeah, there's no audio. Previews doesn't approve of your tech guy. God. So should we replay it then?
Yeah, we can.
All right, that was our bad. We'll replay the trailer.
I was trying to make it all so that we. Well, fuck it, doesn't matter.
We don't know what happened, but
I know what happened. It was my fault.
Oh, yeah, well, it doesn't matter. We should just rename the show Technical Difficulties because that's what we do.
All right, it's going now.
I like the honesty of their. All right, here's the trailer again with audio. I promise.
Going through what she's gone.
Talk to her a minute. Anyway.
All right, that wasn't the trailer. That was a different trailer. So what's up? What's up, guys?
Oh, man. It happened.
Brandon, Previews doesn't approve of your tech guy. God, that's so funny.
Alright,
Yeah, sorry I didn't catch the no audio comment. I was over there watching the trailer too because it's the first time for me too. So that was our bad. We're gonna replay it again with audio this time. So here it is.
This is film number 1. I'm Jim Jacobs. I believe that mankind is on the cusp of a new reality, one that transcends pain, suffering, even death.
No one knows what happened that day. Why did they do it?
Thought it was you. Trying to come back home.
My whole life has been defined by this place, by what happened. Maybe we shouldn't be here.
They're gonna come get me. They want to control me like I'm a puppet.
What do you want to do? I think we should talk to them.
Enough is enough, Maggie. Let's get the hell out of here.
We are the hidden masters. We are the architects of anarchy. We are the sucking soul eaters.
So
my bad.
That was Andrew's bad. That was our bad. Like I said, I didn't see the comment until after the trailer was already done because I was over there watching and the stream was over here, so I didn't see it. So that was our mistake, but that was the trailer for The Veil. After we watched it a second time, I saw Danielle say National Treasure guy from Ghost Rider. That was that's a negative, Danielle. You're thinking of Nicolas Cage. He has nothing to do with this movie. This is Thomas Jane, who is from The Punisher. And other movies. Movie with John Cusack, whatever that movie. Drive something. Check that movie out. I think it's on Netflix too. But yeah, that was the trailer for The Veil. I'd never seen the trailer before until just now. The only reason that I picked it was because of the cast and the description that Netflix had. It's been on my list for a long time, but I added it to it a long time ago, but just haven't watched it, much like most of my movie streaming lists. But yeah, that's The Veil. I'm excited to watch that one. It actually does look pretty goddamn crazy. It looks like a pretty... Yeah, it definitely does. Andrew brings up a good point. It looks like it a far step up, much more promising than WTF. Because that movie I was really disappointed in. But this one I think that I'm really going to enjoy, and I think if you guys watch it too, I think you guys will probably end up enjoying it too. Jessica Alba is hot. Yes, she is. But I don't know if I'll say that. Yeah. Jessica Alba is hot, but I hear she's got the herpelies, so...
Never work with her now.
I've heard that for years, and apparently, like, it's a whole big... Who was I talking to about that? I was having a conversation not too long ago with somebody that it's like a whole, like, pyramid triangle of just a herpelies fucking cesspool, and she's involved in it, so... But yeah. That's neither here nor there. She's still an alright actress. Oh, God. Finger that skull, T. Oh, yeah, you like that? So, yeah, anyway. Oh, God. So, yeah, that was... There are no bads, Andrew. It's all good because. Just because. So, yeah, that's the movie for next week. Feel free to watch it this week. I know that I'm going to, and then we're going to be talking about that one next week on next week's episode of H&H.
Next month, right?
Or next month, bi-weekly, next year, sometime. We're going to talk about it sometime on this show.
But for real, next week.
But for real, it's next week. Don't listen to us. Don't listen to Brandon. It's next week. Weekly show, Tuesdays at 10-ish. But so yeah, we're at holy shit balls. Holy shit. We're at an hour and 40 minutes. So I think I'm going to cut this episode off here. Herp's the gift that keeps on giving. That is true. So yeah, tune in next week. I'm going to have next week a segment, Kill of the Week. Best kill, I guess is what we'll call it. Best kill of the week, whatever.
Like on what was that? Zombieland?
Oh yeah. Did they have a?
Remember that? Like, did this week's kill of the week, and then like.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I know what part you're talking. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of like Zombieland, where we're just gonna have like this week's best kill. Which, yeah. So it's gonna be next week's episode. I don't know if I'll have another story next week or not, but I'll be putting this episode or next week's episode together this week. So until then, tune in next time. Heckles and Horror. See you guys later.